Hello and welcome to another great episode of We Speak Dispatch.
911 emergency, what are you reporting?
And now, the conclusion of our two-part episode.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode with Buster here. We ran over in the first episode, and we know this topic is hot. So we're going to talk to you about iOS 18 right now and give you some tips and some tricks, some things to look for, some things that you can do to make yourself more prepared to make it a success at your agency, because this one ran a little long last time, and we're about to begin episode 2. So thanks, everybody. Here we go.
Today, we got a full house. Everybody's here. So we got Leslie over there. Hello, Leslie. We got Joe down there. Hi, Joe. How goes it? There's
Hello. Go Phillies.
Oh, my. We got John down there. John, how goes your world over there?
Awesome. Just getting through the humidity.
I'm glad we don't have any today. So, and Glenna, how goes your traveling world? You seem to be all over the place lately. So how goes that?
I'm in California, Southern California today. It's a nice balmy 73 maybe.
Wow, it's 86 here, cloudy. So, all right. And we're special guest today. Today's our guest is Buster Brown. So, Buster, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and just a little bit about yourself? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to everybody today. Excited to be able to do that. As Doug said, I'm Buster. Most people know me as Buster. My real name is Bernard Brown. I am the assistant director here at the Rutherford County ECD in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I've been in the industry many years, 40 to be exact. I'll start my 41st year a month from yesterday.
Wow.
So it's getting close.
Started when you were 5 or what?
What? I didn't hear you, Glenna.
Did you start when you were 5?
I started when I was 20. And so, yeah, I'm 60
Hey,
now.
if the headset
I look
fits,
great for
just
60,
put it on.
don't I?
You
I
do.
just don't
You
have
really
the hair that I
do.
had when I was 20. But I've been in the industry many years, so I've gotten to see a lot of changes. I've served in basically every type of position in 911. I started out as a paramedic firefighter, working in EMS and fire. And one night I got thrown into dispatch, and it rewrote my career. And it's been a very blessed career. I've gotten to serve on multiple committees on national and local levels, and I got to serve as the National NENA president 10 years ago. So in 2013-14, I was the NENA president, and I'm very humbled to be able to say that I did serve in that position. It was quite the experience. It gave me the ability to meet a lot of people on all levels within the industry, on the private and public sector. And it also was able to educate me in a lot of the things that were coming down the pipe that we're starting to see in today's industry.
Go, Buster.
Leslie, what you were saying in regards to training them, this is part of our concern that we have within the industry and the whole topic of short staffing and things like that, because they're so overloaded working all these hours. How do you then get them a way to be able to train them?
Right.
It's a balancing act.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how do you get them trained, which they need to be trained, but they have to be sitting at the console. And I will tell you, teaching people online, I can tell you the ones that are doing their assignments at the console compared to the ones that are not.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that Gallup just released a poll out here that says that a lot of people are worried about AI taking over their jobs. And I'm just saying, just throw it out there that they're saying a lot of people now are really scared that AI is going to step in and take over. And if we have our phones being answered by AI technology, it'll sound just like somebody talking to you, but
They
it really
won't know.
not be a person.
You won't know, and I guarantee it's already happening. It's happening in most cities. But the technology is such that if somebody says a key word, if somebody says it, and the machine learning and the AI can measure someone's voice inflection. So all of these things put together can trigger up. Now a human needs to intervene here. So
there are centers that are already starting to beta test this.
Oh, yeah. God. So that means we'll have less dispatchers. That's good.
Well,
okay, so
one that's very close to us, Doug.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can imagine. And it's just, to me, it's like we're just technology running our dispatchers out of a job. So because it's going to be held over with technology. Anyway,
I want to comment on that. Can we make this like we're talking about AI? Because I was the biggest, like, hell no, we're not going to do this. You need a human being. So think about the dispatcher who's got 10 calls coming in for one traffic collision. Okay. So she takes the first call, or he takes the first call.
Okay.
AI can be on your phone system, can identify the location of where all these calls are coming in, and if it's any certain area of where this traffic collision is, they will take these extra calls and they will AI it. They will say, are you calling about the traffic collision at such and such and such and such?
What if somebody that's the 10th caller actually has relevant information on what that actually ended up being?
All they have to do, instead of waiting for a dispatch, they hit one. They hit, like, if you witness the accident, hit one, somebody hits one, and it goes straight to a dispatcher, versus that one dispatcher having to answer those 10 calls.
Yeah. And
so there is a place for AI in there.
It's and you know, Buster, because you know some of the agencies that are doing this, these are centers, a lot of them right now are, or you can stay on a ringing phone for 30 minutes until somebody answers.
There you go.
That's much rather, if I have witnessed something, have my call answered within 5 to 10 seconds, give an opportunity to provide information. If I need to be escalated to a dispatcher or a call taker, I'm there. But nobody wants to be on the phone with a ringing phone. Your call is important to us. Please stay on the line.
Or get a busy signal when you on speaker and call 911.
Yeah.
The solution to let a robot or AI take the call that may miss that information, because what if somebody says, well, I did see it happen, but the AI is just telling me, give me the information, whatever. I don't know the key words to say to make it go to a dispatcher. I'm just like, hang on, okay, well, I guess they're going to pick up and get this information some other way.
Doug, to your point, what ends up happening is if anybody's ever been in an accident, it usually takes you a few moments to get your bearings.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be the first 4 or 5 calls in today's world. You're going to be the 10th, 12th, 20th call. And I've had situations where people say, oh, they're out of the vehicle. It's just property damage only, da. And then the 20th call, you find out somebody's in the back seat of a vehicle.
Yeah.
And they're in.
We've had it with fires where people are saying get 1,000 calls of people. Did you see the fire? You calling about the fire? We got the fire, all that stuff. But it takes that one caller that says, wait a minute, I saw it start and I can help you solve this damn thing. And it's like the same thing with road rage incidents, the same thing with other things. I think we kind of say, let AI take it. Let's see how good they do. Because we know how good they are at other state agencies. We know how well they handle other things.
I think what we're saying is let AI help you manage the call.
Right. I don't think it's a takeover. I don't think it's a takeover. I think
the AI is only going to be as good as the human that trained it.
Sure. Absolutely.
Where AI took over, though? I don't want to say it like this, but they took over. Remember the movie Terminator? Anyway, so...
Oh, Lord.
Let me give you a second example.
I took it over.
I want to give you a second example. So you get on the phone, 911, what's the address of your emergency? And somebody says, I need the police, but they say it in Spanish.
Yeah.
So you have AI technology that will instantly start translating that. And so instead of saying, I don't speak English, do you speak English? Or I don't speak Spanish, do you speak English? Okay, let me get you a translator. And then 2 minutes later,
we have Spanish dispatchers working that can handle that.
Yeah, but what if it's
but what about Punjabi?
What if it's Cantonese?
Like here in Rutherford, the second most used is Spanish, but the next one is Arabic.
Yes, and ours is Mandarin.
Now,
and
if
then
you
we
go
have
up
some
to New
Punjabi
England, it's Portuguese. It's like, well, depending on where you go, and then you're talking which dialect of Spanish it is.
Yeah, true.
And how long does it take the AI to determine, is it Vietnamese, Korean, Chinese, Japanese?
Is it Cantonese or Mandarin? Yeah.
Okay, hey, Joe, go ahead. Ask your question. You've been holding, so go ahead.
That's all right.
Go ahead.
We're ignoring Joe. He's wearing Philly stuff.
I was going to AI take
the one thing we kind of touched on was court. And will the dispatcher become a witness to it? And how far do we want them to go in? I think Buster was talking about this a little bit ago. What is the agency's responsibility with these videos and pictures coming in? And how do they then turn those over to court like they do that? And I know this is going to be part of the training from the platforms that are letting you see this, and you can reach out to them to request it. But what is the recommendation for? Is it going to be store them as long as you store the 911 calls, or what is some guidance we can give to those listening that says this is now starting tomorrow going to be coming into your 911 center, and you need to take these steps to protect yourself as a supervisor, manager, or leader of 911?
That's a good question. I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
Leslie, do
I,
you?
and I think it's going to depend on knowing what your current retention policy is and making sure and reading that and then running this up the chain, because to everybody's point here, this is so new that I don't think a lot of people have thought about that. But there are, if you've got a voice logger that is capturing everything on the phone, you may have a screen recorder that's capturing everything that's happening on a screen. And all of that is going to be a part of that record if and when it goes to court. So I think
where did it get stored though? Because we ran out of storage at the department I worked at, because we had 26 centers using the same hard drives. And it's like, we ran out of it with all the other stuff. That's why our phones only recorded for 180 days and that's it. We just couldn't keep it. It was too much.
Yeah.
But
So John,
that's just it. It's every place is different with the retention laws. And I believe with public safety, it should be the same across the board nationwide.
Should be.
Every state should be required for the same amount of time to keep these records, because what makes one situation less important than another situation in a different state?
It depends on the size of the center you're talking.
And then you're dealing with, as you were saying, the chain of custody. Where is it going to be kept? Who's going to have access to that? How do we keep from people downloading a video and the next thing you know, it's out on Facebook or on some other social media site that an attorney's trying to build a case for?
Yeah. John, you got a question? John, you're up.
Yeah, just going back to iOS 18, since a lot of folks, including myself, are unaware of all the changes that the new operating system will bring, particularly ones that Apple isn't widely publicizing, I'll say. I mean, the big ones are, you can delay messages and have more emojis and all this other sticker stuff, the fun stuff, right? So I thought it was Leslie or Buster, you mentioned that, it starts whenever iOS 18 is pushed out. So the question is it something that agencies opt in, or because the system is available to push it out, get ready, buckle up? I mean, do I have to have at my agency a special phone system that accepts it? Because if I'm calling on an Apple device with iOS 18, it sounds like still I'm going to have to get some link from dispatch in order to share video, text, audio, what have you. But to me, that just sounds like that's happening today, just removing these other company players. Is that how this thing works?
So right now, in order for this to work in your dispatch center, you have to be a Rapid SOS or Prepared in your center. Those are the only two platforms that Apple has partnered with right now. So if you don't have those in your agency, nothing, you may have somebody say, well, can I send you a video? If they are some of the ones that pay attention to these Apple releases.
Yeah.
But, and that's the thing. I think, and John, I still remember the presentation that you did when text to 911 first came out, and everybody thought, oh my God, this is going to be overwhelming. Oh, how is this going to work? And you did a presentation at one of the conferences where it was like, yeah, not so much. So this may be one of those similar type situations where everybody is getting so up in arms and so anxiety ridden. And then you get one every 2 months or something.
Right.
So
I look at it like this, that Leslie talked about this since the first time I've ever met her. That she said, whenever you wrote policy, you have to have the Samsonite monkey, you check it out and give it to your employee that's going to question everything about it. This is the way I kind of feel, that I think a lot of people are just like, oh yes, let's have that. But I think a lot of people aren't saying, wait a minute, is there any ramifications because of this? Are we putting too much on our people? Are we jumping into something without really having all the facts? And we're just assuming, yeah, this will work. And then it's not, it's going to take something to happen that's going to cause a big shift. And that's why I'm always like, I know sometimes on here I seem like I'm anti technology. But I'm just like, people, let's not run into something and make it all screwed up at the end where we got to go, oh, whoa, we went way too far on this. Let's back it up. Just like AI is doing to the record industry, where it's copying their voices and putting out stuff that these entertainers are like, I didn't record that. It's not me.
Yeah.
But it sounds just like.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of where.
Going back to what Buster said, though, it starts with training. 100%. You always fall to the level of your training. Always build that foundation, and that comes from the top down. Which, in my business, when I go into agencies to start peer support programs, I don't talk to the peer support coordinator. I don't talk to the person that wants to do it. I start with the chief, and if the chief is not on board, we don't do it. And it doesn't matter how much money they want to throw at us, we won't do it. So that's the same thing here. You have to start with training.
So Leslie, just out of curiosity, with this release tomorrow, I haven't really seen anything to the general public that's been put out there. Maybe it has, and I just haven't seen it. So basically, anytime after midnight per time zone, is everybody's phone going to automatically get this update?
No, I think you're going to have the ability, like you do on every Apple phone, if you want to go, update your phone, your phone's due for an update, so you can do it, or you don't have to. It's not mandatory. And I will tell you,
I'll see an update on mine.
That's a Google thing. So that's sad.
Is that a flip phone?
Yeah, it's a jitterbug. It's a jitterbug.
But also, well,
I thought it was a BlackBerry.
Yeah, as much as we've talked about this, and Joe, I see your hand, so I'll make this quick. I watched the Google, or not Google. God.
Wow.
I watched the Apple release.
Watch the MTV.
Google.
Yeah. I watched the Apple release. And if anyone's interested, you can go on YouTube and find it. And this, what we've been talking about now for almost 30 minutes, is in like maybe 18, 20 minutes into their presentation, and they speak on it for about 35 seconds.
Wow.
That's it. Because, John's talking about, we got cool emojis and you can do all this stuff, because that's what people want. But for our profession, it's that 30 seconds of, that kind of gives us a lot of conversation. Okay, Joe, go.
Yeah, I'm with Glenna here when I say that I don't work with Rapid SOS. I work at an agency. But with this being such a major change, I think I want to go back one more time to speak to the frontline users and the supervisors and managers. I know that's been my drum that I keep beating throughout this thing. But if you are a Rapid SOS user, you can sign into the portal, go to the training, and they have about an 11.5-minute video from a user perspective that you can watch and see how it's going to work once the update takes place. And so if you work in a center tonight and you're wondering, what can I do to be prepared for this? And you're one of those users, go watch that training. You can see about the blurred images. You can see about how to request a photo or a video. You can see about how it's going to come into your center. And you can see those things in advance. The second thing that I would recommend doing, even though Glenna or Leslie said it's 18 minutes in, it's only 35 seconds, go read about all of the updates on Apple's platform that comes with this update. John's touched on them and talked about the emojis and delayed text, and there might be some other stuff with the texting. I'm a big hiker, and there's going to be some new hiking features that allow GPS so that you can also be found, that can come download to the phone in Apple iOS 18, which is what garnered my interest in 18 from the beginning, is these hiking things, because I already pay for an All Trails app and I hike with a Garmin GPS thing when I get into the places where I don't have service. So as a frontline user and a supervisor or admin of the Rapid SOS portal, make sure this week you go in and watch that training, learn more about it, go to the Apple website and read about it and familiarize yourself. So when you get that call or somebody asks you, you're at least current. Even if your agency's not told you to do it or not made you aware of it, go in and take the initiative and do it tonight. Start right now.
Absolutely. You're right, Joe, because Murphy's Law says they'll be the ones that get the first call.
Sure.
Yep, exactly.
And you can, if you are an administrator and you oversee your Rapid SOS, and I would imagine Prepared as well, you can go in and disable this. So it's not we're forcing this on you. It's been enabled, but if you choose to say, hey, do everything that we've talked about here, slow roll it. Hey, let's before we jump in with both feet, Doug, let's give it to the supervisors. Let's write a policy. Let's see what the impact's going to be. And then we'll enable it maybe for the trainers or something like that. So this isn't going to be forced on anyone. I'm speaking for Rapid SOS. You can disable it. And if you want to find out how, go and watch that training that Joe's talking about. Joe, to your point about some of the hiking and some of the other features, Now, there's 911 SOS with satellite. Now you can also text 911 using a satellite when you don't have cell coverage as well. So that's another one of the features of iOS 18.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
There's an electric
Joe,
pulse and shuts down everything that's electric. Other than that, all right. So let's throw it to Joe. Joe here, and Joe, tell us about how our social media is doing out there. Let's see what's going on with that.
Yes. Okay. I tell you what, if you're not listening to us, you should be. And if you want to be a guest, just like Buster here, go to wespeakdispatch@gmail.com. Jill will be in touch with you, but I'm going to give some interesting stats. That 68% of our people listen to us on Apple Podcasts, and we are almost in 50 countries. So if you're listening internationally, first of all, thank you. But we need 2 more countries to reach 50, and we are nearing 40,000 plays. So thanks everybody for listening.
That's great. We're so we let these episodes to just take off, and just there's Jill right there that just take off and absolutely are just. They contain so much great information. And if you're not sharing stuff and talking about it and getting this conversation rolling and being like old Doug and questioning things, and not just no. So, until next time, everybody, go out and make it a great day, because you know all of us will. Good night.
We hope you've enjoyed another great episode of We Speak Dispatch. If you would like to be a sponsor, please contact us for details.